Welcome back to the Velvet Story, where secrets bleed into power, and love fights to survive in the shadows. In this chapter of Beneath the Mask, Zhu Milam returns, not as the broken bride the world once pitied, but as the woman who dares to reclaim her legacy. Every step forward pulls her deeper into betrayal, every alliance tests her strength, and every heartbeat with Yiran threatens to burn through the frost she built around her soul. The storm begins here. Chapter 79, Return to the Light. For the first time in a long while, Zhu Milam faced the cameras again, not as a scandal-ridden heiress, not as a broken bride, but as a woman reborn from the ashes. The press conference room in the Zhu Group headquarters buzzed with tension. Reporters murmured. Cameras clicked in anticipation. The podium, framed with the company's iconic phoenix emblem, stood empty for only a moment more. Then she entered. Milan's presence silenced the room. Dressed in a pale cream suit, elegant and commanding, she walked with quiet confidence. Her chin was lifted. Her expression is unreadable. Every step echoed resolve. Yiran stood at the side, just out of frame but close enough for her to draw strength from. Behind him were her legal team, a few loyal board members, and two senior managers who had once worked under her father. Milam took the mic. Her voice, steady and crisp, rang through the hall. I want to begin by thanking those who stood by the Zhu family during our darkest hours. A pause. And to those who betrayed our trust, I won't name you today. Not yet, because the evidence will speak louder than I ever could. The reporters shifted, eyes wide, pens frozen mid-sentence. I know the world remembers me as the bride who disappeared, the heiress who vanished. And I let the silence grow too long. But today, I reclaim my voice. And I reclaim my family's legacy. She gestured to the screen behind her. A timeline began to play, not with dramatics, but with data, facts, and dates. Bank transactions, paper trails, leaked conversations, and a clear exposé of Lin Jianhong's financial manipulation. Zhu Group is more than steel and contracts, she said. It was built by my father's hands. It deserves better than silence. The applause didn't come instantly. But it came. A slow build. A rising tide. And then the questions began, hard, fast, unrelenting. Zhu, what about the divorce settlement? Are you contesting it legally? No, she replied calmly. The past is its own punishment. I want only to secure the future. Will you be returning as acting chairwoman? I will stand where I'm needed. For now, that means stabilizing operations and holding those accountable who tried to dismantle this company from the inside. Another voice cut through. What about your personal life, Zhu? Any comment on Mr. Duan Yiran's role in your return? A murmur swept the room. Milan's lips twitched, not quite a smile, not quite denial. All I'll say is that sometimes, the strongest allies come from unexpected places. Yiran, watching her from the side, allowed himself the barest smile. Later that night, back at the apartment, Milam sat barefoot on the sofa, wrapped in a blanket, exhaustion pressing behind her eyes. She hadn't cried all day. Not during the press conference. Not during the moments after when former allies suddenly remembered her number. But now, she let the silence settle. Yiran came in with 2 mugs of tea. You were incredible. I was terrified, she admitted. And still, you did it. He sat beside her, close but not overwhelming. Milam turned to look at him, her voice soft. You've been my anchor through all of this. I didn't want to be your savior, Milam, he said gently. Just the person you could lean on when the world started spinning. She stared at him, really looked, at the strength behind his calm, the tenderness behind the man so many mistook for cold. And then, without warning, she reached out and took his hand. Not out of desperation, but choice. End of chapter 79. Chapter 80, The Fire Beneath the Frost. The news cycle didn't sleep. By morning, Zhu Milan's press conference had taken over every major business and entertainment outlet. Social media buzzed with hashtags, commentary, clips dissected frame by frame. Hashtag Zhu returns. Hashtag heiress not victim. Hashtag justice for Zoo family. Milam had become a symbol, not just of survival, but of reclaiming dignity. But with every rise, shadows moved faster. And Lin Jianong, watching from the mansion that was once hers, was already planning his next move. She's playing hero now, he sneered, fingers clenched around a glass of whiskey. Let's see how she handles war. At Zoo Group, Milam stepped out of the elevator on the executive floor. The corridors looked the same, polished floors. Minimalist art, the soft scent of jasmine from her mother's old preferences. But now, everyone looked at her differently. Some with awe, some with fear, and some with resentment. Yiran walked beside her in silence, always one step behind but ever present. When they reached the main conference room, the doors opened to reveal the full board, already seated. Today, she wasn't just the symbol. She was the challenge. An emergency motion had been raised, spearheaded by an old ally turned opportunist. Director Wei. He questioned her competency, her emotional bias. He demanded a vote on limiting her decision-making power. The man didn't even wait for greetings. Ms. Zhu, we appreciate your return, but emotional theatrics at press conferences don't equal leadership. Milam smiled politely, took her seat. No, Director Wei, but facts do. She laid down 2 folders. Here are performance metrics from every division for the past 6 quarters. Here's what I project for the next 3, with restructuring in logistics and tech. Something you haven't addressed in your last 8 reports. He sputtered. The question, she said coolly, is not whether I'm fit to lead. It's whether those who failed my father's vision deserve to keep their seats. Silence. The old guard exchanged glances. For the first time, Wei looked uncertain. Milan's eyes swept the table. Let the records show, I won't lead from emotion. I'll lead with results. But if you think you can push me out, I suggest you think again. Later that evening, back in her apartment, the doorbell rang. Milam opened it to find an envelope on the floor. No name, no stamp. Inside, a flash drive. She inserted it into her laptop, pulse quickening. Footage played. Jianong. A secret conversation. Not business related, darker. She's just like her mother. Soft at heart. Burn that out of her and she'll fold. Her breath caught. The voice that answered him sent a chill through her veins. Evelyn. She won't fold. But we can make the world think she did. Milam slammed the laptop shut. Betrayal layered upon betrayal. And yet, something in Evelyn's tone had cracked. Something hesitant. Milam looked toward the balcony, where Yiran stood, phone to his ear, quietly issuing orders, always watching her back, even when she didn't ask him to. She walked out to him slowly. We may not have much time. He glanced down at her hand, the flash drive now clenched between her fingers. I've got people tracing the sender. Whoever's helping you, they're close. Closer than we thought. Milam looked up at him, eyes sharp. Then it's time to stop surviving. She took a breath and start fighting back. End of chapter 80. Chapter 81, A Thread of Redemption. The private garden behind the abandoned Zoo family estate hadn't been tended to in months, but the roses still bloomed. Wild, untamed, as if refusing to die. Zhu Milam stood there in the late afternoon sun, dressed in black slacks and a crisp white blouse, the only softness, a red silk scarf tied around her neck. A memory of her mother's favorite color. Evelyn arrived exactly on time. The woman looked different, thinner, more cautious. Her usual poise was shaken, though her eyes still held that calculating gleam. You asked to meet in person, Evelyn said, arms crossed. Is this an ambush? Milam didn't move. No. If I wanted revenge, I wouldn't have asked you here. Evelyn gave a humorless laugh. What then? A warning? A last show of mercy? Milam handed her the flash drive silently. Evelyn blinked, not taking it. You already saw it, I assume. I did. You think you know everything, then? No, Milam said evenly. But I know enough. For a moment, the breeze stirred the garden. The scent of roses rose between them, cloying, heavy, like memories refusing to die. Milan's voice lowered. Why, Evelyn? What did I ever do to you? Evelyn's composure cracked just slightly. She looked away, lips tightening. It wasn't personal. It was business. Your father, he blocked too many people. Jianong had leverage. He offered me something I thought I wanted. Power? No. Evelyn finally looked at her again. Security. And yes, a seat I thought I deserved. You drugged me. You helped them frame me. You almost destroyed everything I loved. Evelyn didn't deny it, but she whispered, I didn't expect it to go that far. I didn't expect Jianong to. She stopped herself. He used me too, just like he used you. Milam let the silence hang for a long time. Then she asked, why send the drive? Evelyn's eyes glistened, not with tears, but shame. Because I wanted to tell you the truth. But I didn't have the courage to face you. Milam didn't soften. You don't get a clean slate just because you regret it now. I know, but if you are truly sorry, then help me end him. For good. Later that night, Milam returned home to find Yiran waiting in the kitchen, sleeves rolled up, sautéing something that smelled suspiciously like comfort food. Let me guess, she said, hanging up her coat. Spicy noodles? With extra scallions. You looked like you needed victory carbs. She smiled faintly but leaned against the counter. I met with Evelyn. Yiran turned down the flame. And, she confessed, sort of. She's scared. Jianhong's got things on her too. She willing to flip? She will be, Milam said, eyes dark with resolve. Because we're not giving her another choice. Yiran walked over, handed her chopsticks. You are changing. Into what? A woman who no longer waits to be saved. Milam met his gaze, warm, full of something deeper than gratitude. Maybe that's because I finally have someone who believes I can save myself. For a long moment, they stood in silence, two people no longer circling around fate, but shaping it, side by side. End of chapter 81. Chapter 82, Between Strategy and Something More. The sound of hurried footsteps echoed in the underground parking garage beneath Zoo Group's central headquarters. Yiran leaned against his car, arms folded, eyes on the watch dial. Right on time, Milam stepped out of the elevator. She wore a tailored navy coat, eyes sharp, lips set in a line of determination that had become familiar and dangerously compelling. You got the documents? She asked. He nodded, holding out a slim black folder. Signed affidavits. Witnesses from the finance department. Evelyn's testimony is here too. Milam took it with both hands, her breath catching. We'll file everything by Friday, he added. The anti-corruption board will move within 72 hours. Jianong won't see it coming. She flipped through the pages, but then stopped. Her fingers trembled slightly. This is really happening. Yiran stepped closer. You fought harder than anyone I know. You deserve this. No, she whispered, my family deserves justice. My brother deserves to walk again. My father deserves his company back. My mother, her voice cracked. She deserves peace. You all do. Silence settled between them, not awkward, but fragile. Then he asked quietly, what about you? Milam looked up, startled. What do you deserve, Milam? The question lingered. She searched his eyes, always calm, always steady, but tonight they held something unspoken. Something gentle. She looked away before she could fall too deep. I haven't thought about that, she said finally. Then start. By late evening, Milam returned to her apartment. The documents were locked in her study. She pulled her hair down, removed her heels, and stood barefoot on the balcony, watching the city lights blink like fireflies trapped in glass. She didn't hear Yiran's knock until he was already inside. You left this in my car, he said, holding up her leather planner. Oh, thanks. She reached for it, but he didn't let go right away. His fingers brushed hers, warm and sure. She froze. So did he. Their eyes met. And for the first time, there was no business between them. No revenge. No scars. Just the space of 2 heartbeats. Maybe 3. He stepped back first. Sorry. No, she said, softly. Don't be. He hesitated at the door. Hand on the frame. I know you don't trust easily, Milam. And I'm not asking for promises. Just, he exhaled. Don't shut the door if your heart starts to open. Not to me. She watched him go, a weight she hadn't known was there pressing gently on her chest. It didn't hurt. It just made her feel alive. The next morning, chaos erupted. The preliminary audit findings against Jianong were leaked to the press. Anonymous sources hinted at offshore accounts, internal embezzlement, and fabricated board votes. Panic spread through the remnants of Jianhong's inner circle. Milam stood at her office window, the media frenzy unfolding across her phone screen. You okay? Yiran asked as he stepped in. She turned slowly. I'm not sure yet, she said. But I think I'm ready. Yiran smiled. Not the careful, polite one he wore in meetings, but the one he saved only for her. Then let's finish this. End of chapter 82. You've been listening to Beneath the Mask, only on the Velvet Story. From press rooms to private wars, from fragile redemption to the fire of something more, Zhu Milam has found her voice again, but the game is far from over. Enemies circle closer, friends blur into traitors, and one wrong move could shatter everything she's fought for. The next chapter holds choices that will test not only her power, but her heart. Stay with us, because the story comes to end. Here on the Velvet Story.